Racism is showing. Racism is showing. Racism is showing. Racism is showing. Racism is showing.
I'm uncomfortable because this event is tearing at the fabric of this community that I care about and I'm here to support. And I don't know, and I have to ask myself, and I'm not a cynic to ask this, is the juice worth the squeeze? Is this worth it?
Professor Scott Yenner argued that transgender ideology is undermining the traditional family by affirming the right of children to change their gender, even if their parents object. Though Dean has also issued a statement saying this rhetoric does not reflect the values of diversity, whatever that means.
You could tell Governor DeSantis is not running this state. This fall, students attending one of the 64 state universities of New York schools will be forced to take a social justice course if they want to graduate.
Colleges sometimes now have, many of them have different graduation ceremonies for black and white, separate dorms. This is what I mean, segregation. You've inverted the idea.
White and male students in a Binghamton University sociology course will have to wait their turn to participate in class until minorities and women have engaged first.
Overall, Michigan employs an army of 88 people as diversity and inclusion bureaucrats of various kinds. 24 of them make more than $100,000 a year. Collectively, these 88 make about $11 million a year in salary and benefits. That's enough to fund in-state tuition for 742 students.
At the University of Chicago, there has been backlash over a course in the Critical Race and Ethnic Studies program titled The Problem with Whiteness.
As New Jersey considers legislation that would make public universities more accountable for their spending, Rutgers University's budget shows massive increases in diversity, equity, and inclusion spending.
Insult.
And Oregon has said that proficiency requirements in math and reading are now going to be suspended for equity reasons because there are disproportionate outcomes. This is the soft bigotry of low expectations applied.
Diversity and inclusion are more than buzzwords. It's who we are. It's why we excel.
Florida State University, completely controlled by the left, has just adopted a series of diversity, equity, and inclusion programs to promote bigotry openly.
What they're doing is quite simple. They're dividing Americans, or in this case, students at Florida State, along what they call a matrix of oppression. They're designating some groups oppressors, other groups oppressed, and they're creating special benefits and special punishments based on your identity. It's wrong. We have them scrambling, and the more we expose it, the more we put pressure on them, the more that we can stamp out this racialist ideology that is capturing all of our institutions.
Good afternoon, Ms. Garcia. I'm interested in attending a USO group meeting after completing the pre-group appointment, but the only day-time that works for me is Wednesday during the Black, Indigenous, and People of Color, or BIPOC, students-only group. I'm not a BIPOC student, but was wondering if I would still be able to attend. Thanks so much for reaching out and for expressing interest in our group. Unfortunately, we do need to keep this space specific to BIPOC folks. Kindly, Dr. Darlene and Ann Lynn.
So many of them went out and got Ibram Kendi's really amazing book, How to Be an Anti-Racist.
Why did you decide to write a book about anti-racism for babies?
Well, I mean, I first and foremost have a very young daughter, and I wanted to have a tool for her. I mean, I know that at 6 months, the babies are already seeing race. I know at 2 years old, some children are already consuming or believing in racist ideas and discerning who to play with based on a kid's skin color.
White folks should not imagine themselves as normal, and men should not imagine themselves as normal.
Definitely.
Merit is a myth. It says that merit is a problematic heuristic. It says essentially that merit is a smokescreen for racist domination and white supremacy, and that actually merit as an objective quality does not exist. It should be minimized. It should be deprioritized.
The University of Florida also funds a youth gender program that performs double mastectomies on females as young as 16, in addition to hormone treatments for up to 200 patients. The University of Florida requires all pediatric residents at UF Health to shadow in this clinic.
Now, you've gotten documents from something called Florida International University, I've never heard of it, exposing its social justice badge program? Sounds like a social credit system. What is this?
Yeah, well, Florida International University is actually 40,000 students. It's a huge public university.
Wow.
I found documents, according to their sunshine laws, that show that they're dividing students along racial lines. They're actually holding racially segregated training programs, telling white students they're oppressors, telling minority students that they're oppressed.
Florida International University put out an inclusive language guide with inappropriate or non-inclusive examples of language that should be replaced by positive and affirming terminology. She and he should be replaced with they and them, while Latina and Latino, Spanish or Latin words should be replaced with the anglicized Latinx or Latinx.
Latinx voters. Latinx community.
Latinx.
Latino, a Latinx person.
Latinx instead of Latino. You ever heard that?
No, I have not.
According to a survey in 2019, 76% of Latino adults had not heard of the term Latinx, and only 3% used it.
Well, first of all, I teach Latinx literature in every class that I teach. So when I teach literary theory, I teach Latinx literature. When I teach, there's nothing that, it always appears in my curriculum. So I think, first of all, because it has a very long history in the U.S. since the U.S. was Mexico.
Well, good morning. It's great to be with you all. I'm Governor